When you read the script of True Lies, how was that scene described?
So you need to hear how True Lies happened. So just so y'all know, I was sitting at my home with my husband. The phone rang. I picked it up. Hello? Hi, Jamie. It's James Cameron. Hi, James. What's up? And he said, I've written a movie for you and Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'd like you to read it. I can't give you the script, but I can send somebody to the house and they'll wait for you while you read it. So thing. I read it. And, they took it away. I called him back. I agreed. We met for coffee, and then I agreed, of course, to the movie. Amazing. Are you saying because of the lighting?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So when I was going to do the movie, the first call I made was to two calls. I called the production manager and I said, hi, it's Jamie Lee Curtis. I'm going to play Helen Tasker. When is the scene in the hotel room where she, dances without her clothes on? And he said, the second week. And this was like a month from that moment. And I thought, okay. And then I said, can I speak to, I need to speak to the production designer. Because it is written in that script that Helen, who is kidnapped from that hotel, is, she wakes up in that cell with a single bulb above her head, like an interrogation room. Now, I don't know about all y'all, but Mommy needs light on her face. And Mommy's known that about her face for a very long time. And I knew that a single bulb above my head for 10 pages of dialogue was not going to be pretty. And I called the production designer. And now you all are going to have to go back and watch the movie, and you're going to see my handiwork. I called the production designer and said, I require light on my face, and I don't know where you're going to really be able to source a light enough to light me in this bare bulb room. I said, you're going to need to create a light box around the mirror so that I can then justify some light on my face. And when you see the movie, there is a big-ass light box around the cell I am in, which allows them, of course, then to light me, and I then get lit. But that was not the original design of that set. The other thing I need to let you know, just because you're not actors, but you don't care, but it's fine. I made a very big mistake on True Lies. I allowed them to use me as what they call cover set. So cover set means that when you're shooting exteriors, you need to have an interior scene that you can go to if it rains. And so when they shot that big sequence in downtown Miami on top of the building with the Harrier jet and all the helicopters, the cover set was Helen's interrogation room because they could travel that set to every city. We shot that sequence. When you see that sequence, that was shot over 4 months, 4 different times. So the close-ups on me were one day. Then a month later, the wide shot. 2 months later, over Arnold to me. I'm telling you, it was, and it's a lot of work. It was an important sequence in the movie. And I learned my lesson. I will never allow them to use me as a cover set for an important sequence ever again, because that was just a mistake on my part.
Now, at that time, Arnold Schwarzenegger was one of the biggest, if not the biggest, movie star
sure.
on the planet. And he had I don't think he'd had a leading lady to speak of in his films, but this was a big change for him, and even he recognized it.
Yeah. Oh, I know where you're going. I know. I like the way you pitch.
Well,
No, it's good.
I'm
Good,
just,
Leonard.
I'm
You're
just,
awesome.
I'm just teeing them up. You have to hit the ball.
I'll hit him home. You know, we made True Lies, this incredible experience, big, long shoot, very difficult to be away from my family. It was a tough shoot. The movie's coming out in July, and sometime in May, Jim called me on the phone, and he said, "Hi, Jamie, I'm sitting here with Arnold, and we have something we want to tell you." I was like, "Okay." And they said, the movie is True Lies, starring, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger in True Lies. And I've just shown Arnold the movie. And I've said to him, "Arnold, this is a movie about a marriage, and it's important that it's a domestic epic." And therefore, Jim went to Arnold and said, "I think you need to let Jamie be above the title." Now, just so you all know, my lawyers and my agent are all here. This is the kind of negotiation that actors negotiate, for credits. The credit in movies, when you see movies and then it says people above the title, Arnold Schwarzenegger in True Lies, starring Jamie, you know what I mean? Like that is a very expensive and beautiful part of the negotiation of movies. It's long standing. And I was credited as starring Jamie Lee Curtis. And Arnold Schwarzenegger, to his great credit, tells me and tells you everything about him as a person, agreed immediately with Jim and gave me above the title credit next to his name, which he did not have to do. And it's a really beautiful gesture on his part, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you to my lawyers for trying for above the title. And I'm like totally fine that you didn't get it. It's totally fine. You can wave at me all you want. I'm not going to ask for like a refund or anything. I mean, it's all fine.
Well, sometimes things happen, for different reasons and for outside of the protocol. Like, for instance, though you were a teenager when you signed that contract at Universal, you were able to go and say hello to your uncle, Lou Wasserman.
Yes. So
Lou Wasserman being, at that time, arguably the most powerful executive in Hollywood.
It was the most powerful executive in show business, is a real pioneer in his day. A lot of the free agency, ran MCA Universal. Lou and Edie Wasserman, his wife, were my godparents. They were friends of Janet and Tony. Janet and Tony had their daughters. Both my sister Kelly and I are Lou and Edie Wasserman's godchildren. And when I first became an actor, when I was on Operation Petticoat, which, by the way, was a movie that Tony Curtis made with Cary Grant about a Navy sub that's painted pink, and they pick up 5 Army nurses who have to stay on the submarine, and, hilarity ensues. I mean, that's the premise of the movie, which is a 2-hour movie, right? You pick up the Army nurses, hilarity ensues, and then at the end of the movie, they get off the submarine. It's a genius. They made a TV series, which I was in, playing the woman opposite the part that Tony Curtis played in the movie. It's complicated, Nepo baby. And, I'm an Army nurse on a Navy sub, and, you're wearing whack outfits, khaki skirt, very tight blouses, very nipped in everywhere, big boobies, and, me. And, we would break for lunch and go to the commissary at Universal. We shot at Universal. And Lou Wasserman used to sit in the back on a raised sort of dais table. There were a bunch in the back. And he would sit there every day at lunch. And I used to walk into the commissary. And I'm only going to get up and walk just a little bit, but I'm just going to let you know, you can imagine, big, long commissary, big room, giant room. And Lou's at the end, and I am this, 22-year-old actress in an army outfit with my hair all kind of 40'd out. And I walked through the thing like this. And I walked all the way through, and you're Lou, I walk all the way through the commissary, passing all these tables, and I walked up, and I walked to Lou Wasserman's table, the most powerful man in show business. And I walked up and I went, and the entire commissary was like, true story.
So having said no to horror movies,
Yes.
along comes an opportunity 20 years later to revisit Halloween.
We're already there? Wow, 8 hours has gone by so fast. It's unbelievable. Yes. So, yes. Oh, the 20-year mark.
Yeah.
Oh. Put on your jammies. It's going to be a long night. When I realized, and this is again owning power, but then not owning the power. Again, sort of trusting my instinct and then not really going for it. When Halloween was going to be 20 years old, when it was like 18 years old, I remember I ran into John and Deborah, and I said, you guys, we should make a 20th anniversary movie. That's never been done before. Same creators, same actress in the movie 20 years later. Come on, it'll be amazing. And that was the beginnings of Halloween H20. And what happened was John and Deborah ultimately didn't do the movie. And the reason I'm saying that I didn't own my power is, one, I did not insist that I was a real producer, a real creator on that, and it was totally my idea. Two, when John decided not to do it, and other people started to take over, a lot of men, what happened is, Deborah, I didn't say I'm not making the movie without Deborah Hill. And it is one of the, I don't have a lot of show business regrets, I really don't. That is, without question, the biggest mistake I made in show business is not demanding that Deborah Hill produce that movie or I'm not doing it. And at the time, it was a big paycheck for me, and she wasn't saying, like, I really want, you know what I mean? It wasn't like Deborah was really trying to do it and she was being rejected. She just sort of disappeared. But I didn't, with all of this, the beautiful picture that Roger showed at the beginning with Michelle Yeoh and women supporting women, I didn't support Deborah Hill then. I didn't. I didn't demand that Deborah Hill produce the movie or I wasn't in it. And it's a regret. She ended up passing away. We stayed friends till the end. So she wasn't angry at me, but I was angry at myself.
Interesting. And these are things that we don't know. We're in the audience.
Understand.
We have no.
I understand.
And we're going to see a quick clip from that, and then from The Tailor of Panama, an interesting film that you're going to talk about after we show the clip.
Okay, sure.
You and Pierce Brosnan.
Yep.
Okay,
Ready.
rolling.
Let's go.